Hard Times is such a good song.
Such a good song.
I can agree.
So guys, I have a question though.
All right.
What is your favorite Paramore album?
Right.
Self-titled.
There's a hole in the ground. You can tell me when it's alright for me to come out. Hard times. Gonna make you wonder why you even try.
Hey guys, Ron and Don here with special guests Rob, who's
Hi.
new to the channel.
Yep.
Our friend Adam, by the way.
name's
And
Adam.
Jan is back again. Third video. So,
Yes.
obviously from that little intro bit, we all disagree on what our favorite Paramore record is. So we all decided to settle this once and for all and rank the albums using our personal tastes, our enjoyment, our what we think is best from a musical, technical standpoint, and what we listen to the most. So we all compiled these together and created like a final ranking list. So let's just start with what we think is number 5, because they have 5 albums. So let's start with you, Adam.
I think All We Know Is Falling is, or what I call it. I call it Couch because it's so. I don't know. It doesn't do it for me. But I would rank that as their last album.
Yeah. Yeah, I would probably agree. I think All We Know Is Falling is their messiest and it's their first album, so they were just starting out. They had a lot of good hits. You know, they had Pressure, Emergency, and then they had a lot of deeper cuts like Never Let This Go and my favorite, Conspiracy. A lot of things that you know now from Paramore are in this record. You've got Haley's voice. You've got the punkish pop instrumentals in there, and it's just the weakest out of all of them.
Right. Yeah, it definitely is. It's their first album, so I mean, it's gonna be like, it's not their best. They're starting out.
Yeah.
They're trying to find out their sound. So I mean, but yeah, it's still such a good record because there's so many hits, and it's really where they started off, and they just grew from there. So yeah, like my favorite is Never Let This Go. Super catchy chorus.
Yeah, it's a
but
good one.
again, My Heart is one of their deeper cuts, and it's just, oh my gosh. So yeah, that's number 5 for me. All We Know Is Falling.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna have to agree with Ron, Don, and Rob over here. It's just All We Know Is Falling. Yes, they had a good, I guess a good push to what they wanted to do, and then obviously over the course of their career they've evolved. But it's a decent record, but it's not peak performance.
Yeah, it's definitely one of those first albums that a band needs to get started. It's not like one of those where the first album's their best and then they just keep going down, but it's just they needed that push to get going, like you said.
I think this band's sophomore slump occurred on their first album.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that makes
Then
some
they
sense.
just grew from there, because
Yeah.
my list after
Right.
this is for albums that occurred later on, not
Yeah.
first.
Yeah,
Right.
Yeah, definitely.
But what I appreciate about this is it's their own music. The studio and the record company didn't really have much say into this is what's gonna get you popular. This is what's gonna make you stand out.
Yeah.
But they do have their hits that definitely are up there.
All We Know Is Falling. We all agree on that one. And then probably here's where we start getting some differences. So Adams, what do you think is their 4th?
I'd have to place their self-titled as my 4th spot.
Oh
I just really don't like the album. I'd say there's too many songs on it.
Really?
There's 17 tracks on this?
17 tracks, yeah.
I don't know. That much variety in the album is just not doing it for me.
So you think it's too different and not as focused onto what it needs
Yes.
to be?
Interludes are... I think it's a good way to separate the album. Even though it's 17 tracks long, the interludes make... they put a division in it that I really like.
Yeah.
Right.
I don't know, songs like Fast in My Car and Ain't It Fun are just way too overpopularized.
Yeah, they definitely tried something new with this album, and I take it you just don't like what they tried.
Yeah,
as much.
I don't like what they did with this album. I mean,
Yeah.
it's still a good album. I'm not gonna say it's not a good album,
Yeah.
but it's just not to my taste.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, I get that. So it's more enjoyment,
Yeah,
Yeah, okay.
I'll listen to it occasionally.
Yeah.
but
but not every song.
not every song.
All right, I get that. Well, I've got to put Riot at 4 here. And I've gotten a lot of shit for this on Reddit because I don't. His album's not my favorite. And a lot of people really love this record. Look, like, I know this is what really got them started. You know, you've got That's What You Get. You've got Misery Business, and they are good songs. There's a lot of good songs on this record, but I feel like it has a better sound. It's more polished than All We Know Is Falling. It's got better production, better performances. My main problem with this record is that some of the songs just aren't as up to snuff, I think, as, you know, the others. Like When It Rains, We Are Broken, and Miracles, I don't think just are as good songs as For a Pessimist and Misery Business and Born for This and Fences. I just feel like it just kind of plagues the record a little bit for me. It feels just like your average pop punk record, which is what they needed, and I understand. But I just feel like their later albums are much more better musically, lyrically, and, like, I don't know, conceptually.
My fourth favorite album by them is After Laughter, their newest one. Guys, look. For me personally, it starts off so good. So good. But it just, towards the end of it, it kind of drags for me.
How?
It just kind of drags.
The better
Wow.
songs come later on in the album.
That's
songs
what
like
I'm saying.
It
Idol
starts
Worship,
the best.
Grudges, Pool. Great songs that make that album.
That's what I'm saying. But whatever.
Look,
Say
look.
your case.
Hard Times, Rose Colored Boy, Told You So,
Good songs.
Forgiveness, Fake
Yes.
Happy,
26.
and then Pool and Grudges. Those are the, like, standout ones. The other ones, they're just not as memorable to me. I don't know. It just kind of drags a little bit for me towards the end, and that's why I'd put it at 4. I think it's a great album. Don't get me wrong. It's not up there for me.
I disagree so much. But, Jan.
Well, you know, Ron, I agree with your case. I don't think that it was the best work for them musically, from a musical standpoint. Okay, lyrically, yes, it's a masterpiece. But just ever since the singles came out and when I listened to the album, it's just nothing really. It just couldn't find my appeal as I do
right.
with things like Brand New Eyes or something like that with After Laughter.
Would you say that their sound changed too much, that it was just not what you remember from them? Like,
I guess
not
it
what
was
you
just
expected?
Or would you say that it's just not to your liking, to your personal
To your
taste?
yeah.
I guess it would be my personal taste.
Yeah.
Yeah, I get that with this album a little
Yeah.
bit too. Because they definitely went through a lot of changes from Brand New Eyes to self-titled to After
Yeah, I mean, they
Laughter.
got
they
one-
went through different.
An original member left, and then they got another original member back.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And, like, you know, their musical experiences, like, change over the years.
Right,
So,
right.
I mean, I think this is
So-
just what they wanted.
Yeah. I appreciate. I love this album.
So, my number 4, After Laughter.
Okay.
I mean, that's
All right.
I have
All
to say.
right.
I'd like to leave After Laughter with a quote from Haley. She said that this album was less focused on sell, and more focused on just the creation of the music
Right,
itself.
Right.
And that
Yeah.
shows. I mean, for me. But
I agree.
we'll get to that.
I agree.
All right. So, for number 3, Adam, what you got?
I have Riot on number 3. I put it at number 3 because it's one of their most popular albums, which I don't like necessarily. I do like songs like Crush, 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 Fences. Those are some of my personal favorites, which make that album for me. Other than that, I really can't get into any other songs on that album.
Yeah.
Just doesn't really appeal to me.
So what about it makes you put it above self-titled?
It's
Yeah.
catchy. It's a catchy
Yeah.
album. I can sing along to the songs. I listen to it a lot, even though it's not one of my favorites. I can easily go back to it and say, hey, I really like this song.
Yeah.
It's a good sing-along song. I'll listen to it while I'm riding in the car. Not fast in my car, though.
Yeah. Yeah, I get that. Yeah. My number 3 is self-titled. I absolutely love this album. It has that, you know, that poppy sound with the pop punk mix that they had in there coming from Brand New Eyes and Riot, and I think it's fused together really nicely. And like Adam said, the interludes tie together everything on the album. They took a lot of risks with this, like definitely with Fast in My Car, because that's so different. And Future is a huge risk. Like that song. I mean, I don't listen to it that much, but I mean, it's still a decent song.
Yeah.
But you know, I love the interludes again. I love One of Those Crazy Girls, which is another kind of risk they took with that new sound.
Yeah.
Still Into You. Love that song. You've got What Now? You've got Grow Up. You've got a whole bunch of hits here that they really, really seem to enjoy. I mean, we saw them. Ian and I saw them when they were on tour for this record, and they seemed like they were having a whole lot of fun with this. And that you can tell on that through the record. It's just a really fun, creative album, and I think this is one of their most catchiest albums with songs. You know, Ain't It Fun?
Yeah.
You may not like the song, but it's catchy as hell.
Yep.
I don't know. I just think that's what puts it above Riot for me. Even though I may not like all the songs on here, I still enjoy most of it.
This is where it's so hard to choose because they're all so good. They all bring their own taste into every album. So like, for number 3 is actually Riot for me because
This is a shock. This is a real big shock, folks.
Yeah,
personally,
it's pretty big.
Personally, this is my like favorite because it's what I like started with them on, and like I started with this album, and from there on, it takes me back with that album. But Riot is number 3 for me because this is so hard because they're all so good, but you have so many hits on this one.
You do. Yeah,
For a
you do.
Pessimist is one of my all-time favorites. Hallelujah. You have. I actually really like When It Rains. I love that song.
Yeah.
Born for This is so good.
That's a killer tune.
But like, yeah, this is definitely where they sort of found their sound during this era.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think they did really well with it. But yeah, I mean, it's number 3 for me.
So yeah, I mean, I can agree with most of those aspects. Coming in number 3 for me is also Riot, which, I mean, it broke barriers with how they wanted to sound, and it kind of helped them when they wanted to become what they wanted to be, and they solidified, I feel like, what was then their sound back then with Riot. I mean, like, yeah, Born for This, favorite track on the album by far. You've got Crush, 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 Hallelujah, and a great killer opener for a Pessimist. So I mean, I'd say it's probably like a B+ album, and that's not bad for a sophomore effort.
Right.
And they literally just got progressively better, somewhat.
Yeah. No, I mean musically they got a lot better.
Yeah.
I think.
Yeah.
And lyrically too. Yeah.
It's
an improvement.
for
So,
me.
yeah.
I feel like they improve every album on an aspect, and I like it a
In
lot.
some way they
Yeah.
improve.
Yeah. And you gotta love that with a band too. Like,
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
So yeah, number 3, Riot.
All right. Getting down to the nitty gritty here, folks. At number 2, Adam, what you got?
For number 2, I have Brand New Eyes. Great album. I love it. Come back to it all the time. This is one of those albums that I can really just sit down, let it shuffle through the album, and I'll love every song of it. Playing God, one of my favorites on that album. It's so good. Turn It Off is also one of my favorites. I really connect with that song, and I think that's what makes this album for me, is that I connect with it very well compared to their other albums.
Yeah, it's pretty relatable. Like,
It's more accessible.
Yeah, like, I don't know, just the lyrics in it.
well, I think Riot's more accessible, but like Brand New Eyes is more relatable. with, like, sound wise.
Yeah.
Lyrically, I think it's one of their saddest.
Oh, definitely.
Yeah.
They were all going through some rough patches.
I think it was inspired by her breakup with
their
the
breakup.
guitarist.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
mean, like, After Laughter isn't a very happy album either.
Yeah, that is
they're
true.
both
but-
so
Those
sad.
are like really sad lyrically.
Yeah.
No, but that's, I don't know. I just connect really well with Brand New Eyes. It really does it for me. Unlike All We Know Is Falling, I just really can't connect with that album like I do with Brand New Eyes.
Yeah, I get that. So at 2, I've got their new album, After Laughter. I adore this album. I love this album. I think lyrically it's their best. Musically it's their most creative and fun, even though it's like super depressing and super sad when you look into it. But you've got Hard Times. You've got Rose Colored Boy. You've You've got Told You So, Forgiveness, Grudges, Caught in the Middle, Idol Worship, Pool, 20. You got all these like great tracks that really shows their maturity as a band in this, and you can really tell this is what they wanted to write, and nobody was interfering on what they should write. This is them at their core, I believe, and just from what the band talks about with this record, it seems like they had a lot of fun making it. They were really connected as a band, and it really shows on this album. And I think this is their most creative record. Musically, you have a whole bunch of instruments in there that would never pop up on Brand New Eyes, Riot, or anything. Probably self-titled. Yeah. And I feel like after coming off of self-titled, this was the direction that they were meant to go. And it really took a risk too. They probably lost quite a bit of fans with this record. The fans that just want that one sound. Or like, I want Riot all the time. If you don't make Riot, then make another Riot. You know, and I think bands are supposed to grow, bands are supposed to change, and this definitely proves it. I just love this album.
Yeah, because Hayley Williams has been through a lot.
Yes.
From self-titled to After Laughter. Yeah. And I feel you can definitely hear the maturity with her voice, with the band musically. It's an album you can connect to.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. So for number 2 for me, I have to say Brand New Eyes as well. It's phenomenal instrumentally. Oh, it's one of the best.
Yes.
It's just the guitars really stand out on this one. This is the last album that Josh played guitar for them. Just everything about this. Careful starts off so fast-paced. So
Careful's a great opener.
Yeah, it's crazy. And then Turn It Off is one of my favorites. And then All I Wanted.
Best song in the album.
Hayley Williams.
I can agree.
This is her best vocal performance to me that she's ever done.
Oh, definitely.
Oh man, it's so good. But like, she's been through a lot with this album too. They definitely mature with every album.
Yeah. So number 2 for me, I agree with both of you. Brand New Eyes. It was just a good third record to just pave the way and basically improve upon Riot what they already did.
I was gonna say they took Riot and took it to another next level.
Yeah, it's basically next level Riot.
Yeah.
And what's gonna happen with this album is that it's gonna make such an impact on the music world, and like you got tracks like people were blown away. They were like, "Whoa, Careful, whoa, Turn It Off, whoa." All I wanted. Like, they pushed their own boundaries with this album, and I mean, Turn It Off is one of my favorite Paramore songs. Definitely my favorite on the album.
Yeah.
And nothing really, in my book, compares to the effort that they put into this. Like, in my mind, I think this is their best work, but it's not my personal favorite.
Yeah.
But they definitely put everything they had into making this record, and it came out to be possibly a masterpiece.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So, number 2, Brand New Eyes for me.
Well, here we are, down to number 1. What you think?
That's what you've been waiting for, folks. I'm gonna put After Laughter as their best album. It goes here for me just because how experimental it was. It sounded completely different. Like, if you showed someone Riot and then you showed someone After Laughter, they'd be like, who is this? Who are these two different bands? After Laughter just completely changes the sound of Paramore, which I really like. They grew from Brand New Eyes, from Riot, from self-titled, and they made this new indie, if you can call it indie, album.
Indie alternative pop rock.
Indie pop.
And they made songs like Caught in the Middle, Idol Worship. So different than anything we've ever heard from them, and that really makes it one of their best albums for me because of just how different it was.
Mm-hmm. One thing I also forgot to mention, I also really like on After Laughter how Haley changes her voice up quite a bit.
Yes.
Like, she is not singing the same on Hard Times as she is on Idol Worship.
It's completely
it's-
different.
Yeah.
It's really charismatic and all that.
And none of the songs sound the same. Like,
Yes.
you could tell each song apart. Like,
Yeah,
It's
but
not just
and they
guitar
still
and-
all fit. Like, on...
yes.
They all... Yeah.
Yeah.
It's so great how you can... When bands do that, like... Yeah.
Each song is personal.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, so for number one, I gotta go Brand New Eyes. I think this album is a masterpiece. I think it's lyrically brilliant. Very, like what you said, they took Riot, and they just cranked up the notch to 10.
Turn it up to 11.
Yeah, 11, and they just really took it home with this one. Like, and I really need, like, we really need to appreciate, like, how much shit they went through while writing this album. Like, it's hard enough to write an album. It's even harder to write an album when everybody's on edge with each other right after a breakup.
So
like,
much tension.
Yeah, and they wrote some of their best work on this record while in that tension.
And not only, he mentioned that Josh left, Zach left too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
After their album.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, and I mean, this is some of the best drumming that Zach's ever done, some of the best guitar work that Josh has ever done. And like you said, the vocals on All I Wanted and just throughout the whole album are at her peak.
Yep.
Just with like consistency and I don't know. And like Adam said, the lyrics, you can really relate to them, which I really enjoyed, especially in high school.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's super emotional. The performances are amazing on this record. I don't know, and you know, you've got Careful, Ignorance, All I Wanted, Brick by Boring Brick, Turn It Off, and then you have Misguided Ghosts.
Yes.
Yeah.
Which I think is a very compelling
Yes.
ballad.
I completely forgot about that one.
Yeah, and Playing God, which is, I think, one of their best songs.
Then they have a gem that's not on the album, but it technically came out in this time. Decode.
Yes,
Oh,
Decode.
One of their best songs they've ever made,
Yeah.
ever.
Yeah, and consistent in their live shows.
Oh
like,
my
it's
gosh.
very good song coming out of this era. I just think, I don't think this is their peak, but I think like it's their best work so far, and they can definitely, coming off of this and After Laughter and Self-Titled, I think they can make just another really good record.
No.
Right.
And this paved the way for that.
Number one for me is their self-titled album. This is one that I find myself going back to the most. This is just one of those albums that they took a huge risk. They changed up their sound completely.
Yeah.
They threw that like punk pop rock to the wayside and went more mainstream. And for me, what makes this stand out to me the most, when this album came out, I was like, what is this garbage that they're writing? Like, this isn't Paramore. This album grew on me so much.
I think it grew
from
on
when
all
I
of us.
first listened to it. Talk to me when this first came out. I was like, this should not be Paramore.
Yeah.
But yeah, like from transitioning from Brand New Eyes to Self-Titled, I don't think anybody thought Paramore would make another album because the members left, two of the members left, and they took a pretty big hiatus. But Haley kept writing, and Taylor kept writing, so they came together and put together this album. It's completely different. They took a huge risk, went more mainstream with hits. Hits like Part 2 is one of my all-time favorite Paramore songs.
Yeah, sure.
Part 2 to Let the Flames Begin from Riot. Oh man. And then you have Last Hope, which is, again, one of their best ballads they've ever written. To me, Grow Up is so good. Daydreaming is fantastic. Proof is fantastic. One of Those Crazy Girls.
Yeah.
So good. The interludes are fantastic. All around, I'll shuffle this album all the time. It's just a really fun listen.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to agree with Evan here. Number one coming in for me is Self-Titled, and how I love this album. All right, the album didn't really grow on me. I loved it from the start. I really did. And even though you don't like things such as Fast in My Car, I find them very appealing. They're not close to my favorite, but self-titled, it's my favorite because, like you said, they took a huge change in sound going from the punk rock to more of the pop alternative style. And songs like Proof, which is unbelievably good in this transition. I connect with this album so much because it came out during a time where I was like in my HD teen phase, and I don't know, it really brings back a lot of memories.
Yeah.
It makes me feel good because it was also during a good time in my life, but also a very bad time in my life.
It was also, she wrote it during a good time in her life too.
Yeah, and Proof, Hate to See Your Heart Break, Ain't It Fun, just the whole album is, I think, in my opinion, a perfect listen. Not all songs are perfect. They all blend together so perfectly. Like, everything melds together to create one, I think, ideal Paramore album. Yes, it isn't their best work, but it's my favorite. Mm-hmm. It's what I enjoy the most. I think it is a good comeback after Brand New Eyes. I think it was a perfect comeback after Brand New Eyes, and
Sure.
I will never really get tired of listening to this album.
Yeah. That was Paramore Ranked.
Yeah.
If you'd like to see more, tell us on, I don't care what you tell us on, but preferably if you comment.
Whose list do you agree with more? Do you agree with Adam here, Ian, Brandon, and I? Please let us know. We'd love to hear from you guys.
Yep.
So
We're going to put all the albums in the description so you can listen to them.
Yep.
And catch us next time.
Thanks for watching.